is trying to kill us. Nothing enrages the gods more than mortals in pursuit of knowledge. Don't worry. I plan to hold the mortals accountable. As many of them as it takes. Listen to me. A failed animancer lashing out at everything in reach. Even with all the tools at my disposal. I couldn't stop the Dream Scourge. And I couldn't save my people. How do I live up to my family's example when I can't even help myself? I wish I could. But that legacy is a debt I can never pay off. My parents died pursuing a better future for animancers. I can't let their sacrifice be for nothing. And right now, that's all it is. I have some pondering to do. Let me know if there's anything else. Sending my people to Paradise is a bold move. Bold, but more importantly, unpredictable. For now, the Steel Garrote will keep a watchful eye on my people. But we will do the same to them, from inside the lion's den. Meanwhile, the adherents will enjoy their false sense of security for however long it lasts. Look, I know you didn't come to this island to help us. And yet you were here when others would have looked away. Despite everything that happened, it means a lot. We all deserve better. But fate decided otherwise. Well, onward to better things. If you need anything, you know where to find me. The Dream Scourge is getting worse. First our land, then our animals. Now our people. If we don't put a stop to it, we're looking at the end of the living lands. I keep trying, and the world keeps punishing me for it. As if the Dream Scourge wasn't enough of a problem, the adherents are profiting off our misfortune. They haven't come to help us. They're here to exploit our weakness. Agreed. They can no longer hide in the shadow of benevolence. It's too bad. We're fighting for our lives, our souls, and our freedom. I don't know if we can win all three. You really think so? My apologies for acting cynical, but it feels as if nature, politics, and even the very gods are working against us. I don't appreciate being backed into a corner, but here I am. Despite everything that's happened, I'm so grateful to be working with Yatsli. In many ways, Quilichi has been like a second father to me. But Yatsli, she's like my dirty aunt who's up to no good. Oh, she's an expert in that field. While I have your attention, I've been thinking. Why is Inquisitor Ludwig suddenly interested in godless ruins? She's a smart one. I'll give her that. We should be ready for anything. Something tells me Ludwig isn't finished with us yet. I'll tell you whatever I know. I'm afraid not. I've spent a little time in Dawnshore, but this place is a mystery to me. It's good to be somewhere different. Somewhere I can build new memories. Whenever I'm reminded of how big this island really is, it makes my problems feel smaller. What are you so curious about? Anyone in particular? I warn you, I'm not the best judge of first impressions. Kai is a useful fellow. We need people like him to keep you grounded. Just not too grounded. On the surface, Kai is all charm and confidence. You feel good knowing he's around. But there's something deeper. Something in his core that he guards from everyone. Maybe even himself. Oh, not at all. Kai is a sweetheart. And if that's who he chooses to show us, then that's who he is. If there's another side to him, he'll show us when he's good and ready. No need to rush a natural process. Marius is working through something. An old wound that hasn't healed. A search for forgiveness? Who knows? He's a tough fellow, but I wouldn't put too much pressure on him. Good question. Mental and emotional pressure, specifically. Marius could hunt the great western stag if he set his mind to it, but his own feelings elude him. When he wants to find himself, give him room to do so, but don't push him. Just be there to catch him. We haven't been together long, but I think I have you figured out. In Paradise, you handed your killer to the steel garrote. Much like tossing meat to a pack of wolves. You helped Fior Messiverno through an awful time. We did our best. No one will forget that. Of course, all I know is what you've done. You may not think these choices reflect who you are. At the end of the day, you shouldn't care what anyone thinks. All that matters is how you see yourself. I've spilled all the gossip I know. Ask me again when there's a new face in camp. Ah, a simple question with a very complicated answer. The device is attuned to the spiritual energy of the living lands, much like a compass to magnetic north. But essence is chaotic by nature. As you saw with your own eyes, imposing order on chaos is not without risk. Indeed. Don't get me wrong, this invention is a small miracle, but it isn't enough. The phantasmal focus was supposed to be the start of something grand. One lever of a device that exists only in theory. Perhaps it should remain that way. I suppose you deserve to know, after what I put you through. My mother wanted to expand Fior's agriculture. Feeding Emerald Stair wasn't ambitious enough. She wanted to feed the world. She thought she could break the wilderness, using animancy as the whip. Turn the living lands into a garden. Anything's possible, but there are significant problems to overcome. After my father put the finishing touches on the phantasmal focus, she was impatient to get started. After all, whoever controls the spirit of the living lands has nature in the palm of their hand. My father thought so too. Emerald Stair was just the beginning to her. My father thought she was brilliant. Others thought she was mad. I think she was a victim of her own ambition. She wanted so much, and there was so little time to achieve it. Theoretically, her plan should have worked. But the living lands had other ideas. When she used the phantasmal focus, theory collided with reality. Everything went wrong. No. To my knowledge, the accident was no everyday occurrence. But neither was the experiment. My mother transgressed on nature, on existence itself. Still, I don't understand what went wrong. When I do, then I can finish her work. I can't rule anything out, but I suspect the Dream Scourge had something to do with it. It lives in the essence of the living lands, corrupting whatever it touches. And if I'm right, that means it's been here a long time, or the forces behind it. I was 17. That makes it... Gods, has it been 13 years already? After they died, I wouldn't go near a lab. It was ages before Quilici got me to crack open a book. I have a lot of catching up to do in my studies. Need to make up for lost time. It's just a tool. Even a wool scarf is dangerous in the wrong hands. Besides, studying a pillar of Adra is not the same as prying apart the fabric of the living lands. My mother learned that the hard way. That's all I care to say for now. At least, about this topic. I thought my family's research could help Emerald Stair. That it could banish the Dream Scourge from our lands. Of course, Vidaro wouldn't even give me a chance. He was afraid of history repeating itself. Still, I'm hopeful. This legacy of mine could change animancy as we know it. And something tells me I'm close to a breakthrough. Closer than my mother ever got. Good question. The idea of finishing my parents' work gives me a warm feeling. But do I want it? I know I've got one lifetime, and I want to do something with it. I'm glad you think so. Not that I need your approval, but I like knowing that I have it.